Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
You all got fans too.
Yes, we do. It's very warm in my apartment.
It's very warm in your apartment. Is it wet too?
Yep.
Well, no, it's just warm.
Okay.
It didn't rain in my apartment.
Well, I want to welcome everyone to a Woo Woo Witchery and Coffee Club, which is also a magic tool talk.
Yeah.
Books of Shadows and Grimoires. So I think everybody's going to appreciate the fact that Purple Elephant Deb H and Angela of Cartomancy Mesquite have joined me, your host, Tarot Stash. By the way, this is being simulcast on all of our channels. So if you do not see chat, you're not going crazy. Well, not because of that. I will do my best to keep everybody in the know. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe because it's free.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's free. Everybody should just go ahead and and do that. And of course, it's for entertainment purposes only.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You know what I could do? I could actually do this and put this nice little banner that I made Angela wait for.
It's a lovely banner.
It's a lovely banner. Thank you. Oh, you're so supportive. Sort of make me sick. It's great. Cat Mama Meows Dewdrop Inn is here. Hello. White Wolf Mother is here. Fatima. Lati B. Mods.
Me.
Pisces Trader TK is here. Mareta is here. Hello. And the Tarot Magician is here. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. I'm Flower Beauty is here. Hello. And I believe White Wolf Mother is doing that thing of going multiple channels and
nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Some support. So thank you. Nancy Crohn's Intuition is here. Nancy will be reading with me on Monday with Jane, the Secret Tarot.
Oh, gotta see that.
Like and subscribe because it's
that will be good.
Yes. And Gemstone Rhapsody is here. Hello. I've not seen you before. It's good to see you. Calla Lizzie's here. It's time for us to go. Thanks, everybody. Cheers. And are you flipping between chats? Who are the Sanderson sisters?
Yeah, I don't know. Never heard of them.
I don't know. Yeah, we're getting the major woo-woo, you know.
Yeah. Extra woo.
Extra woo. Extra woo. That sounds like my first remix of my first album for this. Well, Team Babe Suzanne Rich is here. Hi, Suzanne. And okay, so today we are talking about grimoires and books of shadows.
Yes.
And Fatima is just subscribed to all three of us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Peace Mama is here. Thank you, Peace Mama. Look, somebody is work lurking.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeffrey.
So, yep, we get some help. And yes, White Wolf Mother is just jumping. It's awesome.
She is.
And we are always cute, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We're adorable.
We are cute.
Yes, we are. And Nancy said, Angela, watch the replay of your live. It was a great job. Tell everybody what the live was.
My live was about an introduction to reading playing cards.
Very nice. Very nice. And I have gotten into about the first 5 minutes of it, and then I got distracted.
Well, of course you did.
Yeah. Jonathan Daly is here. Hi, Jonathan. And okay. So I have a banner for this, right?
You
Mhm.
do?
We're talking about grimoires and books of shadows.
Yes.
And I am going to, and again, we're simulcasting this. So I can say, I'm just going to give a, no, I'm not going to. What is I'm going to make you wait.
Mhm.
I'm going to make you wait, everybody.
Yes.
So, okay. Angela, what is a grimoire?
It's basically a historical record of what your magical practices are.
Okay. Okay. Deb, what is a grimoire?
It can be something more general,
Mhm.
like a description of magical practices, and often contains very old or ancient examples of magic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. For me, I think a grimoire is a history of, and it's a general workbook per se.
Yes.
Jeffrey and I had some great conversations about this yesterday, and I think of a grimoire as a family cookbook,
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
example. And a grimoire will oftentimes have notes in the book about, well, grandma said if you don't have red bell peppers, use the yellow ones, not the green ones, for the better flavor.
Mhm.
So that sort of thing. And and grimoire, the book grimoire has been around, the word grimoire has been around for quite a while.
Mhm.
And I think there's a variation of it. It means a book written in Latin.
Yeah, that was the original
Mhm.
term for it. But
So
then it came to mean a book of magical practices.
yes, and in fact, let me see if I can pull. I was looking up something, and grimoire, a magician's manual for invoking demons and the spirits of the dead, and that is from Merriam-Webster's dictionary.
Well, that
That's
doesn't sound very happy, does it?
No.
well, and I'm like going, that's a lot of pressure.
It
Yeah,
is,
it
isn't
is.
it?
I'm like going, holy mackerel. So, here you go. This live couldn't have come at a better time. I started sketching the cover of my book of shadows last night.
Wow, there you go.
Very nice. And it is a very cool coincidence. And Jonathan has fixed the error of his ways.
Yes.
He was not subscribed to you.
Now subscribe to Angela.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, goodness. So, so we talked about what is a grimoire. Now, what is a book of shadows?
I think of a book of shadows as more like your working document that you work from. I use it. It's just a day-to-day thing of
Okay.
magical practices. Like when I write out what I'm going to work on for the week, I'll have lists and instructions on how to do it.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Deb?
It's more of a personal journal
Mm-hmm.
of how you personally put things into practice. So it could contain spells, it could contain rituals, it could contain what you do for specific things that wouldn't, a small thing, like maybe you lit a candle and for a specific purpose and just let the candle burn. So whatever you do day to day in your personal practice that you would write down would go into your book of shadows.
Okay. I am curious about how people in the chat, what do they think is a grimoire and what they think is a book of shadows? And I am starring a lot of the comments because you all know us. You know me. I'm gonna fall. I mean, we have the best chatters present.
Absolutely,
we do.
So for me, a Book of Shadows is very much of what I'm doing in my own work at any time.
Yeah.
And it's my personal experiences with it.
Yes.
So I'm looking at, I was looking, oh, and by the way, Book of Shadows came about, I believe, in the 50s or 60s because of Gerald Gardner and Buckland. So it's one of these things. Book of Shadows is a new term.
It's a modern term.
It's a modern term.
Although the idea of the shadow self has been around for well over a century. I think it was Jung that wrote about shadow self.
Okay. And by the way, I'm definitely highlighting people's comments. So this is wonderful. Jeffrey said he thinks the Grimoire is his working book of shadows per se. And a dream journal for him is a grimoire because it has themes and variations and things that you journal about. For him, he said, is a grimoire. A grimoire for me is something that you reference a lot. It's the big resource book. And a Book of Shadows is how do I apply that information?
Yes.
So, okay, I want to get caught up in the chat as what people are saying, because this is
Before you do that, Gerald, whatever your definition of grimoire or Book of Shadows is, then that's what it is for you.
Oh, absolutely. You do you, kids. Don't do anything just based upon what we say. And I will also say, I will agree with you, Deb. Do you need one? No. Is it a good idea? Yes. Do you need both of them? Maybe, maybe not. And one of the things that Jeffrey and I were talking about yesterday is the idea of like a lot of structured groups, covens will have they'll have a grimoire, which is a reference book. They will also have a Book of Shadows, or individuals in that group will have a Book of Shadows based upon what their experience has been.
Right.
So, what is this? Okay, I'll only take your advice on wigs then. My wig game is weak. I don't know what wig I'm talking about. So, and I have to give a shout out to a local witch shop, witchy shop, woo-woo shop. It's called Witch Lab, and it's in Columbus, Ohio. Jeffrey and I were there, and Rivka, I believe is her name, and she's been a wonderful resource. Anytime I've walked in there and asked a strange question, usually for something related to this, woo-woo, she's given me good advice. And so I sort of cornered them and said, so I'm doing a live tomorrow. What do you think is a grimoire, and what's a Book of Shadows? And it was very much the grimoire historic. Book of Shadows is personal. And the shop owner, whose name completely I forgotten, was also engaged in the conversation. It was very helpful. So,
oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I love that place. Okay. Beth is here. Hello. Good to see you, Beth. All right, let's get caught up in this wonderful chat. How do you decide when a magic practice is actually the way you do it, or just your own experiments in magic? Ooh, Calla Lizzie, that is a great question. Practice, doing it. That's where, by definition, a book of shadows would be very helpful. You could go back and see when you've done something the last time, what you learned from it, what manifested.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you do it again, how might you alter that?
Right.
Mhm.
And make sure you give it time to manifest.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
sometimes some spells take longer than others.
Yes.
Yes. Very much so. Very much so. Calla Lizzie, I hope that helped. I mean, because I actually don't think there's a difference. How do you decide when a magical practice is actually the way you do it, or just your own experimentations in magic? I do both of those
Mhm.
often, because if my magic doesn't grow and evolve as I do, then it's not a good thing.
Right. And you would if you chose to, you could record all of that in your book of shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Calla Lizzie. Jonathan Daly said, I tend to see the grimoire as a high magic guide and the book of shadows as a hands-on hedge magic.
Yes.
Yes.
I can understand that. Yes. Yes. White Wolf Mother asked, would it include tarot spreads? Who wants to handle that one?
Of course, it would include terror spreads.
Absolutely. And oh, sorry. Go ahead, Deb. I'll be patient.
I was just going to add that you might even want to record personal spreads that you do that are unique to you. So not just spreads that you have learned from others or from books. You include spreads you do for yourself that are unique to you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Here you go. Time plus practice equals it's your thing now, Calla Lizzie.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. And Calla Lizzie also said, I guess I'm asking something that only I can answer. It's done when I feel it's done, and
Yes.
that could change over time.
Yes.
That gets a fan thwarp. Well
So
done.
I want to also talk about this idea that a grimoire is finished, but your book of shadows is a living, breathing document.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think a grimoire is finished and a book of shadows is living and breathing?
If it's an older grimoire from they've been recording them for hundreds of years. So if it's an older grimoire, it will be a finished work.
Mm-hmm.
You can have an ongoing grimoire that you're creating for yourself. So I don't want to discourage anyone from doing that. But the Book of Shadows is definitely a living, breathing thing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And Jeffrey and I talked about this yesterday. And also I did at thewitchlab.com in Columbus, Ohio. Not endorsed by them. They do have an online presence and they're great. Your Book of Shadows can identify themes that you can include into your grimoire.
True.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
True.
And so I think of a grimoire as something that I would see a lot of notes in, little additions about the overall process.
So yes. So it's what Jonathan said. It's more like a textbook.
Yes.
Whereas the Book of Shadows is more like your practice.
Absolutely. And by the way, this is why we are here and why we like spending time with each other. Everybody, let's have a sip and celebrate. So, all right, we have more information. Oh, MLR said when the cat throws up on it, it's done.
Yes. Absolutely.
I am the kind of person, if a cat throws up on something, I'm going to actually circle it and make a note of what happened.
Yes, you are.
Nancy is here. So, okay. Oh, wait a minute, Andrea. That's okay. I'm going to go back up. Yes. So it would include tarot spreads, White Wolf Mother.
Yes.
It can also, like your grimoire can include tarot spreads.
Yes.
Or what you would do for each of the Sabbats.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
You would record in your Book of Shadows what those actual readings are.
Yes.
And how you interpret those.
Yes.
So the Book of Shadows may be more of a try various things, and the grimoire is once you've got it settled.
Yes. I agree with that.
Yes. I would agree with that as well.
I sort of go in between it because it's yes, basically I agree with that. I don't want to overcomplicate it. So,
and it's okay for us to disagree.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's personal to each person. Yes.
We will disagree.
Yes, we will. And it'll be okay.
Yes, it will be absolutely fine. White Wolf Mother said, Book of Shadows personal, but grimoire is more general knowledge. Yes. There you go. We're all done.
See you next week, folks.
Bye. Andrea said, shadows are energies that benefit from adding additional light for energy shift. Because we talk about Book of Shadows. I believe the term Book of Shadows means it is hidden because it's so personal.
Yes.
And it's your personal magic. And the idea of if somebody knows what I'm doing, then they can control it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah. I am Tarot Magician. That's Renee. Yes. I agree. Book of Shadows is day-to-day workings, while grimoire is finished and completed work and or spells. Yes. Yes. I think, and while I'm saying yes, I want everybody who is watching this, if you're going to watch the playback and you're going to share this with people who you know are thinking about a Book of Shadows or a grimoire, share this with them and you figure out what works for you. Because guess what? We're all individuals.
Yes. I wanted to say too that if you don't consider yourself a practitioner of magical things, you could still have a Book of Shadows. You could put all of your spiritual experiences into that book, and it would still be a Book of Shadows.
Yes. Yes, very much so. And I think, okay, I snuck ahead. I was just trying to get caught up in the lovely chat. Book of Shadows to me is your psychologically exploration of your spiritual journey.
Yes.
That's chatters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Psychological thought energy creates matter. Yes.
Yes.
And the grimoire is the practice, and the Book of Shadows are the results of doing that practice. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. And Andrea said, I'm coming from more of shamanic perspective than witch. Past life rememberings of being herbalist, healer, and being hung. Yeah. Okay. And all of those things are really very important.
Yes.
And okay, here, I will say this. Controversy, I know, if you don't like this, hit the disagree button twice or the thumbs down. Hit the thumbs down twice, right?
Yes.
So I personally think it's more important that you document it. It's less important that you know whether or not you're putting it into a grimoire or a Book of Shadows.
Yes, labels do not matter.
No.
And okay. Okay, Suzanne, I have got this great question. What does everyone use for your Book of Shadows? We're going to actually share some examples of that, and I know people in the chat will also be sharing.
Yes.
Renee said it could also mean doing shadow work to heal and manifest your life's purpose.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And Janet is
basically a journal. Your journal.
Yes. And this was a great conversation yesterday at Witch Lab. The owner, whose name escapes me, and I do apologize, said it's more of a journal. A Book of Shadows is more of a journal, and a diary is more of a grimoire. Because think of a diary as it's your calendar. It's this.
Yes.
And a journal is what you're doing with it.
Yes.
So,
thank you, Janet.
Yes, thank you.
yes.
Janet C. is formerly Bora Bora. So
Yes. Yes. Okay. I've never heard the word grimoire. Grimoire.
it's a very old word.
It is a very old word. Quilting Babe Suzanne Rich said, my Book of Shadows contains all the rituals I do, including healing, seasonal, and life celebrations. That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. That is wonderful. Peace Mama a while ago asked, what is a shadow self? And there were lots of good comments in the chat from the best chatters, Peace Mama. And shadow self is that stuff that we're not necessarily seeing.
Yes. And may not in some cases even be aware of.
Correct. Yes. It's what we're not seeing, what we're not aware of. Plucky Heroine said, so Grimoire would be the textbook and the Book of Shadows would be the class notes. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I like that. Andrea also said shadow information might include recipe components. Yes. Renee said practice makes perfect. Continue to jot down notes in Book of Shadows, and once you feel it has manifested, then transfer to your grimoire. Yes. And Quilting Babe Suzanne Rich said our rituals have been cobbled together from published pagan books over the past 35 years of Wayne and I being solitary Wiccans. We do only what feels right for us, not what others say is tradition.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that deserves this.
Yes.
Come on, do it. Oh, it's not going to work.
There you go.
That is the suggestion that I have is if you take bits and pieces from other places, document where you found the original source. That's just me.
I like that idea because you can go back to that source again.
Yes.
And for me, it's not appropriation if you give proper respect and recognition to the source.
Yes. Book Bewitched is here and says we look beautiful. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
White Wolf Mother said, I feel grimoires were more gypsy style era. Perhaps. Okay. And Beth, one of the best chatters, says grimoire, believed that the term grimoire originated from the old French word grammaire or grammar, for which was used to refer to all books written in Latin.
There you go.
And by the 18th century, the term had gained its now common usage in France and has begun to be used refer purely to books of magic.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to hide that. We'll go back to all of that. So that's helpful. I have probably missed people. My apologies. And Boundaries is here. Rose Flower is here. Thank you. And okay, so All right, going back out to the and I want to say something important about this is that idea of documenting where you get it for me is important.
Yes.
If anybody in the United States or anybody in the world has actually seen, was it Antiques Roadshow?
Mm-hmm.
They talk about the provenance. Is it the provenance of an item?
Mm-hmm.
Who got it from where and how much did they pay for it in that paper
Yeah.
trail? That's extremely important. And I
Yes.
think that's really important in a grimoire.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Suzanne. Andrea also said gut level response and third eye response line up vibrationally that sometimes provide visceral response like goosebumps when realization occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. MLR said, I'm old enough where I worry about people finding stuff after I die. More careful of what I write down these days. Yes, I understand that.
Yes.
Yes, and Julie Kushia Watts is here. So, and Andrea has also shared, I was given a dispensing of energy ceremony that I used near ocean. For a while, I didn't live near the ocean, and dispensing of energy ceremonies changed. Energy can manifest.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Okay.
anytime we change something and it works, then
Make
our
it out of it.
spiritual practice has grown.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes. 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 Provenance.
yes.
Yep. Background information. Yep. And this is a great witchy trash chat, and it is perfect for the autumnal season.
Yes.
And Julie is saying hi to everyone. So I did have some other banners. Okay. We have talked about some of these.
Mhm.
Okay. And let's do some personal examples. Would people like would people like to see some personal examples and to hear us talk about them? I mean, give a thumbs up, say yes, show us stuff. I mean, you have to, make sure that things are cool. I am easily amused, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so are we. We find that the older we get, the more easily amused we are.
Definitely.
I sort of begged the question. Yes, please. Yes to personal examples. Yes, show us your grimoires. Which is really interesting, Calla Lizzie, because I may be more willing to open a grimoire and show it to you rather than opening a book of shadows and sharing it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would agree with that.
Full disclosure, I have not created a personal grimoire.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Jeffrey reminded me, he said, by that definition, this is a Wheel of the Year journal that I have that has all sorts of information about the Sabbats in it.
Mm-hmm.
Going, that is a grimoire.
It is.
Yep.
So it is, and he's right. I'd never actually thought of that before, but it gives basic information about the holidays, like we're coming up on Samhain.
Yes, we are.
There's good information in here about Samhain and different deities. And this is a book that as I grow and expand, I would add to it and I would go, oh, an additional color I associate with Samhain might be this color.
Here we go.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we just faded out for a minute.
Yep.
I don't know, but I heard Deb goes, here we go. And I'm like, oh my God, Gerald's on his soapbox.
No,
we
it was about us.
Yeah, we faded out.
So this is a grimoire because it's a reference book.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's a good reference book. And like my this is my notebook for tarot, and I pull that out for a lot of different things. So
Yes.
but yeah. So what about you? What are some? Do you have any? I mean, I have so many examples of mostly books of shadows, but so
Yeah, well, the grimoire that I use is just it's called 5,000 Spells, a book of 5,000 spells. It's a printed book.
yes.
It's someone else created. I use that, and then I have, of course, pages stuffed in between it that are my general. And then I have this. This is both a grimoire and a book of shadows. It's family recipes.
Uh-huh.
Because basically I'm a kitchen witch. So all of the recipes are in there, and like you were talking about before, what to use if you don't have this, or what to use if you don't have that, and what does each of these recipes result in?
Yes.
Because I make like a chicken soup, and I'll have people call me when they don't feel good because they know that chicken soup has magic in it because they get better every time.
Yes. Yes. And I like that. You bring up a really important point, Angela, and that is you could get a book that is already an established grimoire.
Yes.
So I think you're right. What about you, Deb? Any thoughts about or any examples of a grimoire?
I don't have physical examples. I keep everything in a digital record. So I have virtually everything that I learn online, I put into this file, and it has, so I would say that it's both a grimoire and a book of shadows, because I have working things that are in progress for my spiritual growth and my regular practice in there. I have spells, I have examples of rituals, I have everything that I could get my hands on in that space that I can go to do research or continue working on something. So I keep mine digitally. I don't have mine written out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Book Bewitched said, I have a wild need to create a wild fantasy fiction grimoire to hide for my kids to find. I think that's a brilliant idea.
I love it.
I love that. And Thomas Tarot Your Way is here. Hello, Thomas. Great to see you. And yeah, Tarot Magician said, Renee said, historical information. Yeah. Okay. And okay, so White Wolf Mother said, I started the year with a separate notebook so I can do daily tarot spreads, but days when I couldn't or didn't do tarot, I journaled about my day. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And there are different, okay, so we're talking about examples. So I have, here is an example of a book of shadows that I used, and I oftentimes refer to these as travel book of shadows. And this one was actually begun May 3rd of 2012. And so I was actually doing a whole lot of stuff with this as I was studying some things. And then I actually have stuff in here. I've glued stuff into it. So if I was not where I had this with me, I actually photocopied it and I can slide it in.
Oh, nice.
So, and so I have a lot of that information. This is a lot of fun. And then I even have things like feathers, stuff that I have found. And so, and then I do have readings and stuff in here as well. So, Yeah, look at me. I'm like, oh, okay. Huh. Okay. I forgot about that. Cool.
That's one of the perks of having it.
Yes. Yes. I have a coloring book of shadows by Amy Cesari, and I've added so much I had to tear it apart and put it on Happy Planner discs. I have 6 of them now, Book of Knowledge 1 through 6, and growing. Yeah. Yeah. I have more examples, but you can see this. This is this is for me. I mean, this makes me happy.
Yeah.
This sort of thing makes me happy.
Yes.
Angela, do you have other examples, or do you just want me to keep?
Yeah. This is another grimoire that I use.
Hang on. Let me put you there. What's that one? Flowers.
Powers of the Psalms.
Okay.
It has references to the different Psalms and what they can do so far as protection, asking for special favors, promote spiritual growth, alleviate insomnia. It's got all kinds of suggestions and ways using the Psalms.
Yes. And we have here, so you can use any book as a jumping off point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us are like, yes. So, okay. My Wi-Fi is going wonky now, so thanks, Deb.
Don't mention it.
You're welcome. This, for a while, I was actually using a book of shadows, and I associated it with the color for the time of the year.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that, however, does make it a little complicated. That if I want to, if I remember doing something, now I have to remember what book it's in.
What season?
Instead of that, and I also personally, I love a book that has a notebook that has this in it.
Yes.
And,
because you're always going to want to stick your little notes in there.
Yes, and I think if I cared enough, I could actually make an index of what was in each of my books.
Yes.
So
Angela has another book.
Oh yeah, I have one more book. Well, I actually have 2 more. This is my one for healing.
Ooh, okay.
It's my Reiki book of healing. And I put who I've done healing, how I've done it on each person. And I have a history of all of my healing works.
Nice. And so that is your book of shadows.
That's my book of shadows for healing.
Yes.
I have one for specifically, this is my Reiki and energy healing book.
Okay.
Then my recipe book is for medicinal herbs and healing in that manner. Most of what I do is healing.
Okay. That makes good sense. Hershey is here. Hi, Hershey. Good to see you. And got to have an envelope stash pocket for putting stuff in that you'll glue later, or something that can't be glued. Yes.
Yes.
That makes sense. It's been a time of work and growth for so many, including myself. And I think that's great support for Peace Mama or White Wolf Mother, or anyhow. This is good. I love this. And but I have a set. I ended up buying a bunch of these little notebooks. They were on sale. And by the way, hi, my name is Gerald Tarot Stash. I am completely obsessed with blank journals of many kinds. Just saying. So I bought these, and these are what I use when I go to my coven meetings. And I date the sides so that I can find the stuff. And So for me, in that book of shadows, I'm writing down everything
Mm-hmm.
been going on and stuff like that. So I love that idea. I'm reading a reading freak, and I'm a reading freak, and I underline and write things in the book, but I
Mm-hmm.
struggle to meld the digital and the tangible.
Yeah.
Deb, when did you start your digital, or is that how you've always done it?
It's not how I've always done it, but over the years, in having to start over and, just generally life changes, I lost everything I had written down. So I started the digital one about 9 or 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. And I personally, I like mine handwritten. I'm what do they call that? I'm analog.
Yes.
Oh, and Renee said, same, Gerald. My husband is like another journal, and I'm like, and
Mm-hmm.
Lori Kramer said, I try to journal daily and include tarot draws in there when I do those. It's a 10-year journal I made in 2020, just a few lines a day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really powerful.
Yeah.
Truly, truly powerful. So, okay, I'm looking at. Okay, so Jeffrey and I were chatting about this, and I had this moment of realization that a grimoire is
Yep.
knowledge. What?
Oh, we faded out.
Okay. A grimoire is knowledge, and a book of shadows is application of that knowledge, and
Yes.
therefore is wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's my personal wisdom. And just like with everything, our knowledge and our understanding can change. So stuff needs to go into the grimoire, and my personal understanding grows, evolves, and changes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to do a spell, pull it out of my grimoire, and I do it, I'm going to have a different reaction just because I'm a different person.
Mm-hmm.
So here is a book that I actually commissioned to use for a grimoire, and I talked to the person, and I actually, I said specifically, this is what I want, and it's an entire. What's cool is it's an entire ream of paper,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a lot of the ribbons in it.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely love that. And the guy was great to work with. And so, so I have written stuff in here, and it's wonderful. And yes, there's different colored ribbons and all that stuff. So it's awesome. And here's one of my key things, the Desiderata in the back there. So I love this. And so this is my grimoire. He made a mini version of this because he wanted to practice to see if it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought that too, because that was my book of shadows. And of course, I have moved that around so much. It's in the house somewhere, and now I can't find it. So I'm frustrated. I'm like, dang it. It's a mini version of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about this big.
Gotcha.
So, okay, I feel like I'm talking a lot. I need to handwrite my stuff, but handwritten is beginning to suck. Well, yeah, and that's another thing. Grimoires and books of shadows sometimes are done in code so that they are kept secret.
So your bad handwriting may be an advantage.
Yes, and just write in cursive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And if you think about people recording things that might be considered illegal, or immoral.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about people that might not know how to write or read, and or that have some knowledge in like a dead language.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They could use for a code. So codes have been used forever for secrecy and for protection.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, there are a lot of good resources out on the internet. There are a lot of good resources out there on YouTube. I am going to encourage you, if you have a woo-woo shop
Mm-hmm.
and you feel comfortable asking the people who work there for what they think, you're just gathering information, I encourage you to do that. Because let me tell you, it was a great conversation that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was wonderful. And just like this conversation, all three of us and 25 of you who are watching this live have a different perspective.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a safe environment to be able to go, I hadn't thought about that, or what about this? And somebody may go, oh, that's a really good idea.
Yes.
Just helped each other.
Yes.
So,
And there's not a wrong way to do it.
correct. Quilting Babes Suzanne Rich said, about 20 years ago, I took all of my handwritten rituals and typed them into Word documents. Now my Book of Shadows is in fancy fonts and has cut and pasted pictures and drawings.
Nice. I like that.
That's cool. And Maruta said, Gerald, I was thinking what you said makes a perfect definition. Book of Shadows is personal diary of magic, and grimoires are written for other people to learn from.
Yes.
And that includes me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am growing and learning, and I get so excited about this idea of, I want to look back at what I did for the last three, let's say, Lammas rituals. And I read those because sometimes it's important to go back and revisit what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And we can go, oh, I did that. And oh, I remember this happened. So it's really, really fascinating. And that's when you add things to what you're working on. So.
Yes.
Yeah, you can combine things from your past experiences.
Well, and you're going to see an article in a newspaper or on a website that you're going to like, print it off. Right. Make sure. Well, hi, Kat. Oh, yeah. And Maruta said, Suzanne, you turned it into a grimoire. Yeah. Yeah. And Renee said, I'm very good friends with the owner of my local witchy shop. Every time I go in, we talk for a long time. It's great for making local witchy friends. Yes. Yes. So White Wolf Mother said, so all the practical witches of Tumblr have a theory, created a massive grimoire, LOL, code for grimoire is Tumblr. You know what? I think there are actually books of shadows that are digitally uploaded from different covens, and so they're there. And so again, read it. If you like it, great. If you hate it, save it, because there might be something there that you're going to need later.
Yes.
So, and hello, Michelle Marie is here. Hello. And I was on with Michelle Marie and Tanis last night for readings, 2.5 hours. It was awesome. And I have weaseled my way into going again next Wednesday night, but that's going to be for 2 hours. Okay. Given the political atmosphere in our country, it is wise to use caution about how much one exposes to the world. Some
Mhm.
places are safer than others. I
Yes.
don't live in fear, but I use caution. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And I think I'm ready to create a book of shadows. I found Wheel of the Year notes on back of a Lowe's chain hardware store receipt.
Huh.
Speaking of which, need a grimoire?
There you go.
Great
Mhm.
resource.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it is.
Great resource. And I think that's incredible. True. We started talking to a pagan shop owner in Salem about 10 or so years ago, then was invited to their coven meeting that night. Was so nice to meet. Yes, it's great. And so hungry too. Um, yeah, Farmer's Almanac. Forget that. Sometimes I forget it. And Michelle said, I do tarot reading a day and reflect on the cards next day too. And
Mhm.
it is a great introspective tool. I'm so grateful for the community here. I feel this is a safe place. Good. I'm glad. Oh, and yes, Michelle Marie's Jonathan uses the Farmer's Almanac every year.
Mhm.
Well, and if you think about that, it's traditional knowledge about working with the land.
Mhm.
Of course, it's a grimoire.
Yeah.
I love it. Of course, it's a grimoire, people. Okay, so suggestions. What suggestions do you have for people? We are almost at the top of the hour, and I just have to say the best chatters have been here. Thank you all for bringing it. I do appreciate it. And by the way, if those wonderful people from witchlab.com are here, thank you. I appreciate you. So, hi, Kiba.
So I would say do the thing that is right for you. Find some way to record what you do on a day-to-day basis. If you feel like making a grimoire, a textbook of your spiritual growth, something that anyone could follow, do that. If
Mhm.
you want to do it digitally, do that. If you want to write it down, do that. Whatever is comfortable for you and where you are spiritually, that's what you should do.
Yes. Yes. Angela, big thoughts on that? Or
Yeah. One thing I do when I'm working out or trying to figure out what to do with a specific situation, I'll use index cards and I'll put my thoughts down. And that way you can shuffle them into the order that you need and want them.
yes.
And then you can write it down in your book of shadows when you figured out what you're going to do.
Yes.
I think that's great. Yeah. I'm also a person who, to piggyback off of that, Angela, I am a person who I like my spells to rhyme because
Uh-huh.
it feels, for me, it's not for everyone, that builds the energy.
Yes, I do
And that
that.
feels really good. Jeffrey and I'm very fortunate to have someone who is also likes to have rhyme and has different examples of language and meter. He's a musician, so that helps. I don't throw away my notes when I'm creating a spell. Those
No.
go into my book of shadows.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, and oh, I love this. OMG, yes, my spells need to rhyme as well. Yes. Sometime when Jeffrey's voice comes back,
Mm-hmm.
I actually, when I proposed to him, it was in rhyme.
Oh, nice.
So just saying. And Spiritual Rain is here. Hi, thank you. Okay. Fun fact, the Farmer's Almanac has been predicting the weather for 205 years using the time-tested mathematics and astronomical formula and claims an impressive accuracy of 80 to 85%.
Yes.
Fancy AF. So,
Yep.
And yeah, the wheel of the year was on the back of the receipt. I had to scan the front to submit to home insurance claim. I'm glad I submitted the correct side, however. Insurance. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, I like them in rhyme. Don't always succeed. And they don't always succeed either. And by the way, there are wonderful books of shadows that are like almanacs, can be grimoires, but if you have like a daily planner, those can become books of shadows.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and speaking of Farmer's Almanac, coming winter is El Nino, y'all. Great.
Yes. Yes.
I did see something that, okay, so I, what you use for a book of shadow, as Deb said, is what you use for you.
Yes.
Composition books, perfect.
That's a lot.
Speaking about, another one, I am obsessed. I would buy, I would go to stores after the school sale, back to school sales, and I think I bought this for like 25 cents.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. You can get fancy. This is one that I bought from that guy, which has this fancy schmancy big journal on it. And what's not practical about this is can I actually put something on this? Can I write it? It's crazy. It's crazy. And the other thing is a 3-ring binder is a really good idea for a grimoire.
Yes.
And this is a 3-ring binder that actually can sit up like this.
Oh, nice.
My high priestess was talking about this because that way you can keep it open, it sits, and you can flip through. I love the idea of being able to take my reference sources out and be able to to pull out, what I need, different things, and then I can lay them down, and then I can transfer stuff to my book of shadows for my workings. So, okay, and okay, Book Bewitched said, "So hungry to have a coven. I couldn't we begin one online?" Well, yeah, you could. My coven actually met via Zoom during COVID, and we still do a lot of that. So, okay, literacy is magic. Yes. And here you go, dot grid and spiral binding. And
I completely understand that.
I do. And, and I'm, Deb, do you do like the, how do I say this? Angela and I both were using, Angela uses note cards. I use Post-its. Do you do that too, or do you do it digitally?
It depends on what it is and how readily I need to have it at hand. So if I'm doing something away from home, I will jot down notes, usually in a small notebook, and take it with me.
Yeah. So one of the other things that I was reading in my research, #overachiever. Oh, I do have that, #overachiever. And I do this when I write in my book of shadows, and definitely in my grimoire. I want a special pen. I want a special writing utensil to help me remember that what I'm writing is magic and what I'm writing can manifest.
I like that.
So I have a fountain pen. I have a nice little pen cover for this. And I think that's, it's a great way to elevate it because I need the reminder to slow the F down.
Yeah.
And go, okay, here it is what I'm writing. And this is why it's important.
Well, and if you're like me, when you use a fountain pen, you try to write a little more legibly.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And Rain said, I use a binder 3-ring and buy those plastic page protectors at the dollar store. Yes. Yes. And lamination or plastic sleeve. I like the plastic sleeves so that I can pull it out.
Yes, because you might want to change it.
Yeah. Okay. There is amazing chat. So are you two in a hurry? Are you two in a hurry?
No.
Okay. I'm going to take a sip.
Good idea.
My brain is hurting. Beth said, question, a bit off topic. Do any of you 3 have witch bells or witch ladders on doors or around your homes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And yes.
Yes.
My front or my back door has witch bells and keys. My front door has various stuff. Next to all of them, next to all of my entry points are staffs, which are protection to ward off evil. There's a witch ladder right there. You know, not magic. Use it to create witch ladders.
So I have them all around and even in my car.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for the question, Beth. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Astrological charts and things in page protectors in a 3-ring binder. Yes. And, you know, and there's the other thing is sometimes tabs are really useful so that you can group like things together in a grimoire and in a book of shadows, depending upon what you do. So, because in fact,
good too, because you may decide that something you've kept in one category really fits better in another category, and you can change it.
Yes.
Move it
That's
around.
why I like the suggestion of my high priestess saying a 3-ring binder for a grimoire is really helpful.
Yes.
You know, and this is a Yule ritual that Jeffrey and I wrote. And so if I need that, I pull it out and I got everything we need.
Yeah. You're ready.
I am ready. Okay. Okay, good. I'm going back more than 40 years, Suzanne. Okay. They were talking about meeting Lori. I forget, Cabot. Okay, getting chat. I have a leather-bound book of shadows that has screws to secure the binding. That works too. Sherry, Voices from the Swamp. Yes, I have a special pen I use for my journal. Oh, yes, you can spell your writing utensils. Yes. And you can spell your pens to make them special. You can also, if you haven't hidden or done a spell on your book of shadows, that's a good practice to keep it safe and to keep it out of harm's way.
Yes.
So, Lori Kramer. Hi, Lori. I don't know if I said hi. So I keep various half-page size 3-ring binders for information. That size works better for me than full-page binders. Great. Great. Yeah, a lot of bells. And my cats ring the bells to come in from the deck. Yes. Oh, here you go. Zane. Hi, Zane. Tuckbox Rage's latest single, My Back Door Has Bells.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, okay. So speaking of Zane, Zane was here, and Zane, Chris, and I, for a Magic Tool Talk, we did sigils. Sigils are a great thing to put into a book of shadows to protect it and to keep it from prying eyes. So
I still suck at sigil stuff.
Go back and watch that video.
I did watch it. I watched it when you did it.
Well, go back and rewatch it.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, here you go. Lori said yes, special ink pens and even ink coating. Yes.
Mhm.
Put some bells in your car. Absolutely. We don't have a ton of space, so I use Spiral Notebook for my daily spiritual practices and notes, and I type them up and save them for to a drive. Yeah, yeah. So it wrote in my first book like that. Yeah, that makes good sense. Calligraphy, yes.
Yes.
Yes, Book Bewitched. I that's why I'm trying to put it up. So in 24 hours, all of the chat will be there, so you can you could be able to do it. So copy and paste. You can use anything.
Yes.
So, definitely. Yeah, fountain pens. I love me a good fountain pen. You guys are awesome. I can't believe it's only been about a week or so since I found the community. It is a safe space for people who get it. Thank you. I'm learning a lot. Good piece, Mama. Thank you.
And welcome.
Zane has a whole section in his Book of Shadows on sigils.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not either. I'm not either. Oh, here you go. I drew a sigil on my yoga mat. That's good. So I did want to show, I want to show you something that I bought mostly for fun, but then it's because, and I'm gonna use my tiny hands to show you this. So get ready. And so here's a little book of here's a little book of shadows or a grimoire. It's see how small it makes my hands look?
Yes. And very portable as well.
It's very portable. It's very practical. I can put it in my back pocket.
Yes.
I bought this for the fun of it, and it was like, oh my gosh. So I think it needs to be practical, a size that works. And by the way, if you start one and you change your mind, just start a new one. Save the other one. Don't get rid of it, whatever you do. So
there are no such thing as mistakes. It's only an experiment. So if that experiment didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, it's still not a mistake. You still learned from it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Jeffrey was talking about how he never removes anything from his Book of Shadows because it's showing the progress.
Right.
Yes.
And the process.
Yes. Okay. There are so many more. I don't. What? Book Bewitched said, I make my own witch balls with inflatable glass balls I buy at Christmas and put bells on them too. That's wonderful.
I like
bells, ladders. How do they work? Well, maybe you can tune in and we can talk about that. Plucky Heroine said, I've been collecting images to make a visualization manifestation collage. So I guess I'm planning a visual Book of Shadows without realizing it.
Yes.
There you go.
I love that. That's great. For those of you who are like, I don't have anything, just it can be, collage images.
And I said earlier, there people who could not read made their own Book of Shadows and grimoires by drawing pictures.
Yes. Well, and that's why also, didn't I say this? I think I said to this as we were talking about it, in the idea of we have, oh, here you go. For entertainment purposes only. Don't do anything based upon what we say. Make your own decisions. Make your own Book of Shadows. Don't steal mine. Part of it is when you think about it, there's the idea of like Eye of Newt and Hair of Toad and all that stuff. Well, think about this is if you were out in the country and you were trying to write stuff down, but you didn't know what that plant was called, but it looked like the Eye of Newt, then you called it the Eye of Newt. That's
Right.
a code. Your family or those of you who are in the know are going to understand what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a colloquialism. It's not a specific actual thing. It's a description of something in order to be able to find it again to use it.
Yes. And I don't know about you, but my mother always used to give me directions. You go up that street and then you pass that place where so-and-so lived, and then you turn right, and then you go to that whatchamajiggy, and then you turn left, and then you go, about this, that's cool. So, oh, here you go. Crystals, bells, ladders, witch balls.
Okay.
We covered ladders in Not Magic.
We did, and that was, what was that, 2 weeks ago?
Something like that, yes.
So,
although we may not have specifically called them witch ladders.
No,
we didn't.
So,
yeah. Sounds like Renee's way of giving directions. Magic is art. Art is magic. I include sketches, scribbles, paintings in my Book of Shadows. I find it has more meaning for me.
yes.
Yes. That's beautiful. And then you see the big tree on the corner, and it's right after that. Yes. That's exactly right. You know exactly where I'm talking.
Yes.
So okay, yeah, and Book Bewitched is talking about the glass balls, the fillable glass balls that you buy from Michael's.
Yes, not inflatable.
Yeah, not inflatable, the glass ones. So, wow. Okay, this has been an incredible conversation, and I am looking around to see what I have forgotten. Anything the two of you want to add before we head out?
About anything you do can be a magical practice. It depends on your intent and how much thought you put into it.
Yes. And it doesn't matter if you call it a grimoire or a Book of Shadows. I think what matters is that you do it.
Yes.
And it's important to you, unique to you. So do what's necessary to guard that.
Yeah. I mean, yes, definitely. Peace Mama said, OMG, Plucky and Gerald, I have written poetry since I was a kid, but it was in code, so I wouldn't get hurt by those around me. I painted my shadows with words and images. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
Yes. I've been saving pictures, pretty writing paper, cardstock, sealing wax with seal, poems, colored pencils, felt tip pens, lace, inspirations, sayings, favorite quotes. I mean, that's spell work in action there.
Yes, it is.
So, and I do have a lot of things. There's the idea of creating bibliomancy items, things that you use for, you open them. And I've been having so much fun with those and getting stickers and putting them together. I think there's so many possibilities to where if I were to sell one to somebody, they could turn it into their own Book of Shadows.
Yes.
Leaving a lot of space. Actually, that's the intent about them. So they can be used for that. So here you go. What about an arts and crafts woo-woo gathering? That would require me to shift my, okay, Angela wants to do it, so we'll have to do it.
Yes.
So, all right. Willow Cathers wrote, anyone can love the mountains. It takes a soul to love the prairie. Oh, that's nice.
I like that.
Here you go. Here's a plug for Angela's reading playing cards new activity.
Thank you.
And do it.
Yes.
If you stop doing it for a while, pick it up and start writing again.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what to write? Start with the date. I'm a big fan. I want to date everything. And if I take something, I want to reference where I got it. For me, a grimoire has footnotes, endnotes, and see alsos.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and sometimes you can write down, I don't know what to write, and that gets you started.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Somebody last time we were together wanted us to talk about black salt.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so we actually have, what did I do with it? Where's my journal? Oh my gosh, where's my calendar? We're going to be talking about black salt on the 26th of October.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie was talking about that. So,
Yes.
yes. Any place can be beautiful if you look with your heart. Yes.
Mm-hmm. True.
So, yep. Calla Lizzie wanted black salt. So, what do you both have coming up?
Okay, I have Diana Oil Painter and I are going to do the Nancy Jean's Oracle Garden readings
On Sunday.
on Sunday. And then on Saturday, I'm going to have another class in playing card readings.
Nice.
I'm settling out the time. I'm looking at everybody's comments and seeing what's the best time for everybody that wants to start. And when I get a time settled out, I'll put an announcement up.
Great. Deb, what about you? What do you got coming?
I don't have any plans immediately, but stay tuned. You never know. Something might pop up.
You never know. The next thing that I have that I actually have a little card for is a laugh and learn about light language, and that's on Sunday, and that's with JJ from Tuta Speaks and Karen from Starseed Awakening 1111. And then I'm doing readings with Nancy and Jane on Monday the 9th, and then readings with Sun Psychic Jean and Wisdom Seeker Joan, which will be streamed on my channel. And then Monday evening, I am hosting the Mystic Four, where we're doing readings. Tuesday, channeled messages with Medium Betsy Palmer and Terry at Holding Your Space. And then I have a casual with PD from the Tarot Lounge coming on.
Yes.
And then I'm reading with Michelle Marie and Tanis for readings on Wednesday. And then next Thursday at this time, we are doing Santa Muerte readings, or readings using the Santa Muerte deck with Hershey the Shadow Reader.
Yes.
So, and then on the 13th, Friday the 13th, I am doing Trick or Treat Twisted Stories with Hershey, Thomas, and Richie.
Oh, I like that.
That'll be cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have a word of the day. Do I have a word of the day?
I don't know.
Part of it is do I have a word of the day? Because I was going to do a grimoire and then I was going to do a book of shadows, but I couldn't really find a good thing with that definition. So, well, I already used that one. Geesh. Oh, here you go. It is that time of the year. This section of the video is brought to you by the word autumnal. Everyone say it with me. Autumnal. Autumnal. Of, relating to, or characteristic of autumn. Drop like the autumn leaves and like, share, subscribe to our channels. Autumnal. And Hocus Pocus would work.
It would.
That would be really good. So, It would be great. So, and I can do this one too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Really, Queen?
You don't have to do both of them?
No, I can do one, but this isn't working anyhow. Oh, well. All right. Everybody, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
This has been great. And for those of you who are watching the playback, thank you again. Please share this video with people who might want to find some information out about Books of Shadows and Grimoires. And if you've watched the playback, I'm curious if you have a Book of Shadows, do you have a grimoire, and how do you use them? So,
Yeah.
All right. And Nancy said we've made the Sanderson sisters proud.
Thank you.
Who are the Sanderson sisters?
Yeah, who are they?
I don't understand,
I don't either.
but I'm like going, book. All right. And yeah, it was a great discussion, and Jeffrey was here. He was fun while he was listening. And
Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Okay, and apparently you can copy the chat on a laptop when you're doing it, because Book was looking for that. So, but you have to
you can copy and paste.
Copy and paste. So, well, I'm pretty fascinated that these are the best chatters. So, and I think the panel is pretty good. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Everyone, have a wonderful evening or the rest of your day. Leave a message, and we will, I think we will probably chat with you soon, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.